Morning, everybody, or afternoon or evening. We're going to be doing a commentary on Blackadder, Series 2. The title of the episode is Beer, my favourite episode of Season 2. We will forget about Series 1 because that was a load of rubbish. But if you want to watch along with me, push play on your DVD, whatever, and start at 0 and push play now. Rowan Atkinson, known to most as Mr. Bean in the world, I suppose, where he plays the silent character, like a sort of Charlie Chaplin type thing, or Buster Keaton. But still, it was a good role that he played well, but not my kind of thing. I prefer the sort of vocal humour, if you will, of Blackadder. And Series 2 is, of course, where it all took off, and there it is, beer with a tomato and a carrot. And there he is, Lord Percy, having breakfast with the Blackadder. Lord Percy played by Tim McInnery, I think that's how you say it, probably wrong. He's been in loads of things, mainly in supporting roles. Left the main cast in Season 3 so he could go off and do more other things, but came back for one episode of Season 3 playing the Scarlet Pimpernel. But it was a main character in Series 1 and 2. And came back for 4, but had a different name, Captain Darling in Series 4. He was in Spooks, and that's what I remember him mainly for, when he sort of plays civil servants, the bad attitude civil servants. But he's very good. And now, of course, here we are. This is written by Richard Curtis and Ben Elton. Ben Elton, I remember in the 80s, was always on something called Friday Night Live in England, or Saturday Night Live. It was on Channel 4, and it was radical comedy type thing, like Saturday Night Live in America, but the English version. And Ben Elton would come on and rant and rave. I couldn't really understand what he was saying because he'd go so fast. But of course, he wrote this with Richard Curtis, and Richard Curtis is, of course, the guy who wrote Four Weddings and a Funeral, which isn't too bad, not too saccharine, but he also wrote The Thing with Bill Nye and all the famous people. Well, I can't remember what it was called, but it was a load of rubbish, really boring rubbish. And here he is, Tony Robinson, as a Baldric. And of course, as you know, Rowan Atkinson had a problem with saying his B's. He had a little bit of a speech impediment, so he pronounces B's very Bob. Bob as in season episode 1 of this series, where he said Bob. He has his problems with his B's, but it makes it sound a bit more funny. And of course, now the setup of the farce, obviously, as this is another sort of farcical comedy with a bit more of a dark humour, is that nothing else in it except a turnip. Classic. The setup is the aunt and uncle are going to come over, and they're Puritans. They want to talk about his inheritance. Then we're going to have a literal joke. Time for airplane type humour, eh? You're not getting a penny. Yeah. And of course, the ironic thing, here he is, he's got the door. There you go. Don't call me Shirley. Drinking problem. All that kind of airplane humour playing out very nicely. You're fired. Yeah, Rowan Atkinson before this, in Series 1 of Blackadder, which is best forgotten and buried in the ground, he played a sort of whimpering, weird, lunatic, basin sort of haircut weirdo. And in this series, he said, I want to play it completely differently, thank God. I'm going to play it with my proper voice, not like that in the first series. And of course, here we are, and Miranda Richardson as Queen Elizabeth I, if you didn't know. Great actress, Harry Potter, Rita Skeeter, Sleepy Hollow. Played the killer in Sleepy Hollow. Spoilers, but it is 99, that film, so I think 23 years is enough time for spoilers. A great actress, Miranda Richardson, yeah, pretty much looks the same as she did then, really. Well, she looks like Queen Elizabeth I, but out of that, she looks the same, really. Aged well. Good actress, great. Played it like a little schoolgirl, apparently. That was the intention. And of course, Lord Mountchit is laying there, played by Stephen Fry, of course, the great genius that is Stephen Fry. Did QI forever, is a complete genius about everything, apparently. Um, and that is, oh God, playing. I haven't seen her in much else though. The lady playing Nursey, can't remember her name because I'm that good and that prepared. Allergic to lemonades, yeah. Is that a stick-on beard? And another basin haircut from Stephen Fry. Very nice. Of course, he played Lord Melcher in this. In Series 3, he played the Duke of Wellington in the last episode. And then, of course, he was General Melcher in Series 4 about World War One. So he was a guest appearance in Series 3 and regular in Series 2 and 4. Don't think he was in Series 1, but then don't quote me because Series 1 was such a load of rubbish that I didn't bother. They should have called this Blackadder 1, I think. And of course, Blackadder's Christmas Carol also stands out as a great one. He's got a hangover, so he doesn't want to do the old party tonight. But of course, Blackadder's forgotten, hasn't he, that he's got his Puritan uncle and aunt coming, as well as having a big piss-up tonight, a big drunken party. And of course, none of these people can take their booze. And that's going to come into effect later. I wonder how hot these... I mean, these are little sets, aren't they? The first series was very filmic, if you like, but looked rubbish still. And this is done in the sitcom way with 3 cameras, you know, the 80s, 90s, early 90s sitcom way. 3 cameras, but looks so much better. It's got that sort of video look to it, which everyone moans about, and my daughters, and that, you know, this doesn't look, rubbish, but this is how things, this is like, you say, EastEnders is filmed now in England and Coronation Street with this harsh lighting, and I'm sure they could treat this and make it look more filmic, but it's the same with Only Fools and Horses and stuff like that. They don't film, they just leave it with this video look, which is really sort of harsh on the eye, if you like. Here's Percy, a drunken lout. He's got such good diction, and of course, I think he played the villain Rowan Atkinson in a Scooby-Doo film with Sarah Michelle Gellar and Freddie Prinze Jr. and all that lot. Here's Baldrick with his mouse on his... I wonder if that's Basil the Rat. And of course, Ben Elton and Richard Curtis would write this, and they'd do an episode each. And then give their episodes to the others, and the others would change whatever they wanted. And there'd be no arguments and no redrafting. So if one of them didn't like one bit, they'd change it, and then the other one would do the same to theirs. So there's a sort of through humour that's sort of uniform throughout. I think, though, the last episode is a bit of an oddity. I don't really like the last episode of Series 2, because up to this, which is the penultimate episode, the 5th episode, he's going to cut off his little prick, which is a penis, for anyone out there. I haven't got one there, so he hasn't got a penis on his finger. And of course, Percy's got to sit there pretending to make a list of how to get people to come to Blackadder's drunken party. Gwendolyn. Anyway, what was I saying? I can't remember. I lost my thread. I jump around a lot on my commentaries, so you just have to bear with me, won't you? Mr. Ostrich. A fearful oik. Very posh, very realistic for the time, I suppose. Ish. I mean, God, no, Chunder Piddle. I thought Chunder Piddle. Freddie Frobisher, who we will recognise from many films later on, I'll explain later when we see him. And of course, Lady Whiteadder. I don't know who played Lord Whiteadder, but I think he was in a Doctor Who reference. I think he was in Frontios. The old girl. Oh, here we go, trying to get out of it. Yes, so yeah, they'd swap scripts and then they'd just release them with all whatever ads is they wanted, and no problems at all. You just take it as it is. So neither of them... Yeah, the last episode I was saying, yeah, it was more farcical with Percy being... I mean, he's dumb, but he's really dumbed down. All the other characters are really dumbed down in the last episode. Even Queen Elizabeth, who plays like a little girl, but she's really dumbed down. So's Nurse even, and the only characters that are sort of through line of character is really Blackadder and Milch, they act smarter, but everyone else is dumb as arseholes. Oh, she's going to chop his head off. Yes. See the expression on your face. Yeah. Anyway, so they're going to have the drunken piss up in Baldrick's bedroom, which is better than I thought. No bed in his bedroom, of course. You know, beer thrown, water ball, vomit. I think that all lads of a certain age, in between us and all that, they do this. They go through this phase from about 18 to, or even less now, 18 to 30, where they just are drunk all the time. Oh, here we go. I think this is where the actors are really starting laughing, aren't they? Because this looks natural to me. It doesn't look like they're putting on. So either that's really good acting, or that they really look like they're breaking up. It's brilliant. Tony Robinson, famous for doing like an archaeological program in England forever, where he goes around digging up things. And he used to narrate the Discworld novels in their abridged form. I prefer his narration to Nigel Planer, who does the long version. It was terrific. It's shaped like a thingy, a turnip shaped like a thingy. Oh yes. Interesting. I still can't remember that Richard Curtis, but he does films periodically, and he's not really. Yeah, Four Weddings and a Funeral was alright, but you gotta like Hugh Grant, and Hugh Grant's okay. He's sort of rallied lately, playing different, more sleazy parts, probably truer to himself. He used to play these stuck-up toffs that everyone thought was English back in the day. Hides in there. That's a little bit incorrect for now, I'm guessing, but this is 84, so 1,000 florins. Florins, was that the money in England then? It's pounds, so why florins? Don't know, maybe it sounds better. Yeah, of course Blackadder can't handle his booze, which is pretty much obvious. So he's going to be passing water, but another good joke. You ask for ale, I pass water. And of course, in the first series, which we don't talk about, but of course I have to do it for reference, Baldrick was a smarter character, smarter than Blackadder. Of course, they flipped. In this series, Baldrick's a dummy, and Blackadder is smarter. I wonder if they did all that back then, brushing people off with a big brush. Oh, here they are, Mariam Margolyes, whatever she's called, Marigold. She's a good actress. She was in, she played the crazy nanny in that Arnold Schwarzenegger film about the end of the world, about the devil and all that, with Gabriel Byrne. The last day, not the sixth day, the end of days. Yeah, she was the crazy nanny in that, ripping off the omen, I think, somewhat. Yeah, and here she is giving it the big un. She's done thousands. She was in Dead Again as well, playing the one of the hypnotised ladies. Obviously a Shakespearean actress, along the lines of, I suppose she's doing a fucking Brian Blessed impression in this. Yeah. Apparently these slaps are real, and he felt each one, because we're methoding, aren't we? He sits on a spike and she sits on Nathaniel, very sexual innuendo. You see Percy reacting back there. He's still good. He's playing. He's still work. He's not just standing there like a dummy. He's reacting to everything. Scared of her because yes, she's scary. Because she's a Puritan. She's an Oliver Cromwell type, obviously. No mashing of the turnip. Working Beelzebub. I wonder if Rowan Atkinson could say Beelzebub. I wonder if he had his hair curled. I'm not sure if his hair was curled, because in the first series it's like a basin. Third series is where it might be his hair, but it's like a wig thing. Looks similar to this. And in the fourth series he's got the military short back and sides thing. And if you look at episode 1 of the War Games of Doctor Who, end of Patrick Troughton's time, that's in World War One, and it looks just like the set of Blackadder 4. So there you go. There's a reference you might never look at, but there it is. It looks nigh on identical. Even the guy that's sitting there looks like Rowan Atkinson in that. So they want to talk about inheritance, but of course there are other guests. Of course, he's going to say, no, 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 there are no other guests. Fornicate. Here we go. Fornicate off. And of course, Lord Percy's now got to make conversation with crazy auntie and uncle here. A vow of silence. See, they moved time periods for each episode. The first series was around the Tudor War, obviously. The first one. And this is Elizabeth I. Third series was in Regency time with George V, was he? I don't know. No, I don't know. Prince George, the crazy prince. And 4 was obviously World War One. So. And here we go. Don't know the chappie in the middle. The bloke playing the friar over there was in Batman as the Batman 89, that is, as the guy who got shot by Jack Nicholson, the Eckhart. He's also a top man in Raiders of the Lost Ark. He's also the silly scientist who wants to run away in Flash Gordon, Topol's mate, who wouldn't go into space with Zarkov. Yeah, so he's been in loads of things, but always in these little parts. I think he was also in Star Wars. I think he might have been one of the Red Squadron attackers of the Death Star. But the guy on the left, in the middle, or in the middle there, don't know who he is. And of course, there's Hugh Laurie on the right. Don't think he was in Series 1. Played the Prince Regent in Series 3. Played George in Series 4. He does 2 roles in this series. Plays this sort of pisshead guy. And he's in the last episode playing some kind of German weirdo. And of course there was really something red in there because it came out. And of course he's keeping his breast... And here she is in her best disguise, Elizabeth I. And of course she's pretending to be Gwendolyn, Lord Percy's girlfriend. Miranda Richardson, yeah, I can't remember all her roles, but another great actress. And good in Sleepy Hollow, that sort of Tim Burton homage to Hammer Horror, which looked like all Tim Burton films. Yeah. And I assume Tim McInerney's wearing a wig in this. Leprosy of the Brain. Of course, there's great wit from Series 2 to 4, and of course Devil's Dumplings. And the quickness of Blackadder to get out of the situation, and you'll see another example of that in a bit. When the crazy friar comes in to throw up everywhere. Yeah. Now they want to burn more Catholics. Of course, that was Mary the First thing. She came just before Elizabeth I, and she... And you can imagine if they had to do a few takes that this would have been fun, wouldn't it? This is obviously in front of a studio audience. You've got the audience. It's like a stage, really. Table in a brothel where they would talk about sex. And here comes... We get the joke. Here's the turnip. And of course, she loves the turnip because it looks like a massive dildo. You can see it's obviously been worked on by someone. Yeah, he had a big turnip, obviously, the old man. Is there any sexual innuendo, carry-on type humour in there? Carry-on films, that is. And if you're Americans, watch carry-on films. You get this kind of humour all the time. It's sort of innuendo-y. It's a large one and all that lark. And then, of course, he's kicking him under the table, but you couldn't possibly do it because he's so far away, unless he's got the longest legs in England. But, of course, he's doing it. He's just going to go and burn the Catholics. Gives him a chance to get out. And he's got a weird thing on his head now. Is that a nose? I'm assuming it's a nose. Red Nose Day originates here, peeps. Yes, she's better. Do they? Do Catholics have natural rhythm? See, I should have looked up this guy because I've got a clue who this guy is. He stands out like a sore thumb because I know everyone else. Here we go. Well, hey, get it? And of course, drunken men do this all the time. Talk about sex and relate it to everything. My beer looks like a penis. My cocktail looks. Oh, it's a cocktail, yeah, and all that. And that girl looks like a, all this lark, men drunk, always fall into the same pattern. Seems to be eternal. It's the way they are, isn't it? Shh, and they're all spitting all over his face. Apparently, Rowan Atkinson's a great car driver. He went on Top Gear and did a good score. Gonna put some brandy, and of course, Melcher's got golden boobies, just to be different. Oh, and of course, here we go, bit of farce. You can do this as a stage play easily, couldn't you? I mean, they've adapted Only Fools and Horses for the stage. They should do Blackadder. You could truncate a couple of episodes together, make it an hour and a half. Get James Buckley in it. Get all the in-betweeners. I reckon Simon Bird could do a Rowan Atkinson. James Buckley could do a good Percy. Neil, I can't remember his name, the guy who plays Neil could be Baldrick, which leaves the other guy out, Simon. But I mean, he could come in and play other bits, couldn't he? Do a different bit every night. He could have the fun part. Great booze up, Edmund, and of course we're going to get. But Rowan Atkinson's had a good career forever. He's been a great actor. A friend of mine used to be a butler to his household. He's got a collection of cars, classic cars. And he must have been stuck into these for profits. I think he must have made his money on Mr. Bean, because he seems to have amassed a nice fortune. It was on 9 o'clock, not the 9 o'clock news before this. It was okay, wasn't. That was another sort of right-on, sort of humorous, sort of satirical thing. And this has some satire, but it's not in-your-face satire. It's a great boo. They put on the subtitles BU, but I say boo should have been BOO, really, shouldn't it? Just awoken. His voice is very sort of Shakespeare, isn't it? I suppose that's what he's going for. I don't know who he's trying to copy, but because he's a bit different register from his normal voice register. But shove, piggy, shove, which is to people of a certain age. We've all said it at school. I'm older, obviously, because I saw this. God, not long after its first run, probably saw it on a repeat, and then followed it onwards. And then never saw Series 1. Then thought I was missing something, found it, and realised I was missing nothing. Strong ale, Dr. McGlue's Amber Enema. These are very sayable words. Great. Strops lobster scrumpy. Bell basher. Of course, Baldrick's just about to screw up royally by giving him a see-through glass. And I had this debate with my son and my nephew the other day. That glass wasn't invented back here, but of course it was invented many millennia ago, apparently. BC. And here he is pouring it into a see-through glass like a plonker. And there you go, a nut. Nice camera angle. Here he goes. Bum. Of course, Hugh Laurie, a fantastic actor, can do the American accent perfect. Was great in House, love House. Plays sort of stuck-up civil servants. Was in The Night Manager as the villain. Very good. Catch that. Got Tom Hiddleston in it. Played the hero in that well. Lucky. The bit. And here we are playing Pissed. He's got a feather up his bum and his cardinal's hat because he's Cardinal Chunder. And now he's going to turn into. I love this goblin thing he does in a minute. Sometimes I'm nasty. See the little goblin. Brilliant stuff. Watch this far because when I was younger in the 80s, we used to get BBC and ITV, and there weren't that many comedies about. So I'd get the old VHS out and record the whole series and watch them over and over again. So I know I'm pretty much off by heart. This Men Behaving Badly, Only Fools and Horses. Yes, I taped all the Young Ones, things like that. Red Dwarf. My first wife bought me Red Dwarf on VHS back in the sort of mid 90s. I had to divorce her because I wanted them for myself. Of course, she can't slap Blackadder, so she's going to slap Percy. I bet he thanked Ghoul for that because he didn't want to get another slap in the head. Of course, I had Stepdad and Son, Dad's Army, absolutely fabulous. One Foot in the Grave, all the great comedies from the BBC that ran through the 70s, 80s and 90s. That was really about it. The last great comedy from the BBC. Now, there's a question. BBC? Oh, can't really say. I'm probably missing one out somewhere, but no. It's a goal, man. It's a goal. Probably was One Foot in the Grave. Oh, he's speaking. He's breaking the rule of silence, the vow of silent love. Double takes. This is perfect. Carry on. Just watch Carry On films if you haven't. It's this kind of thing, but turned up. Might do it, but then I don't know if I can talk an hour and a half. Oh, here she comes. She's found the party. And of course they think it's a stripper. Wherever floats your boat, I suppose. Hey! Oh, poor old Eddie. Was this... Well, they nearly say fuck at the end of this. Was it a swear word, we wonder? Was they cancel? I mean, they sort of cut, but you know what she's saying. And of course, Rowan Atkinson doesn't know what Percy's doing behind him. But they're trying to hide, but the Queen's come out. And of course, the famous quote here is she has the heart and stomach of a man, but she's going to say concrete elephant instead. A male stripper, what a party, eh? Male stripper, 2 female strippers. Sexy. This is just typical, isn't it? This is a typical Friday night for the lads. Everywhere you go, this is how men act of a certain age. When you get to my age, of course, you become more mature and you don't do that kind of thing. I'm not telling you what age I am now because I want to be timeless. Oh, yes. Apparently, Queen Elizabeth I said this, except the bit at the end, of course. She said, of a man, concrete elephant. Now she's playing it like a public school girl, apparently. But as we close in on the end, I'm going to say, well, this is my favourite episode of Series 2. I used to laugh my ass off. Of course, now it's familiar and I don't think we'll ever get this again, this kind of humour. I mean, the Americans make good comedies now, but because of political correctness and all that, we don't really get good... Because we can't offend anybody anymore, the comedy's sort of gone down the way of... although I don't mind satire, it's just gone the way of we can't be funny about anything, really. Because it offends somebody somewhere, so... Inheritance. Maybe a reverb one day, you never know. Here we go, we're coming up to that famous finish. Anyway, like and subscribe if you like listening to me talking over all those classic comedies. Join me, get your friends to subscribe. Let's get up to 1 billion subscribers so I can get paid and stay at home and do this all day. You know you want me to get 1 billion. And of course the song at the end, which changed every episode. And this changes every episode, this end bit. They filmed this, you see the grain of the film, much better than the actual episode. Miriam Margolyes, there we go. Jeffrey Biddle, Roger Blake, see? No ideas. William Hootkins, there he is. Look him up. Howard Goodall did the music for Red Dwarf. Didn't know that. He's trying to find, but the minstrel that's singing the song he's trying to find is drunk and wandering around here somewhere. And he can't find. I wonder where they filmed this. Was it Leeds Castle? The Garden? Maybe, probably not. There's the singer. I don't know who played the singer. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this commentary. Like and subscribe, like I said. And we will be back for 1 million more episodes in the future. I'll try and do them faster, but like, busy life, got to earn a living until I'm paid to do this. So, take care, like and subscribe. I'll see you in the future. Good evening.